The Catherine Palace in Pushkin near St. Petersburg was the opulent summer residence of the Russian royal family. The Amber Room was an extravagant gift from Frederick Wilhelm I of Prussia to Tsar Peter the Great in 1716 to secure alliance between the two countries. This palace was the perfect setting for such an incredible object, once described as the eighth wonder of the world. It was the greatest and most ambitious work of art ever created in amber. Six tons of solid amber, backed in gold leaf, filled a room in the palace. The magnificent panels took a team of Europe's finest amber craftsmen 10 years to carve. Now just one panel, a modern reconstruction, exists to show its former glory. In the winter of 1941, Hitler's plans to conquer Russia brought German troops within sight of Leningrad. In their path lay Pushkin. The Catherine Palace became a victim of their advance. It's 1941 and you can almost see the German troops crossing this courtyard.
The first general, apparently, into the Catherine Palace has to stop some of his troops bayoneting stuff off the wall. And when it comes to the Amber Room, the people here have papered over the panels, which wasn't going to fool anyone for very long. Soon there arrives on the scene Count Solms-Laubach, a Kunstschutzoffizier, art protection officer, vital part of the German war machine. The Count, who is Prussian with an aristocratic background and a degree in art history, takes one look at this and says that to protect it, it has to be pulled down and put somewhere safe. It takes 6 men 36 hours. The Amber Room goes into approximately 28 crates and is removed from the Catherine Palace. And that's the last Russia sees of the Amber Room.
For over 50 years, people have searched in vain for this treasure. In May 1997, a sensational discovery sparked new excitement in the art world. A picture believed to be from the Amber Room was offered for sale on the underground market in Germany. The picture was an elaborate mosaic of fine gemstones. But does the discovery of this panel mean the rest of the Amber Room will soon emerge? I set out to follow the trail of the Amber Room from Russia back to Germany. I have German blood, and I'm fascinated by the relationship between art and war. The Nazis justified the theft of millions of art objects from across Europe under their policy of art protection. Old masters and sculptures were moved into the collections of figures such as Hitler and Goering. As the Germans advanced, they looted on a grand scale, transporting cultural objects back to the fatherland. Today, bitter recriminations continue as Russia demands the return of 1 million works of art. Number one on their list is the Amber Room. Art stolen from Russia was transported to my next location in the city of Kaliningrad, known, before Stalin renamed it, as Königsberg. Königsberg was the gateway for all treasures into Germany, a safe haven to store valuable objects. Documents show that the Amber Room was taken by rail from the Catherine Palace to Königsberg in 1941. Kaliningrad is now a faded Russian city on the edge of the Baltic Sea. It was once the vibrant and exciting capital of East Prussia, a focus for German cultural pride. Records prove that the Amber Room was held in Königsberg Castle until early 1945. Exactly what happened to it after this date is unknown. Russia is desperate to retrieve their lost art, but progress is hampered due to lack of funds. In a small, bleak office in the center of Kaliningrad, just 2 Russian officials try to recover the treasures which were once held here. Avani Osyanov has access to thousands of KGB files, which he uses to search for clues.
Мы располагаем данными, что янтарную комнату в целом виде не перевозили и не прятали. Ее разделили по частям, и таких подтверждений достаточно. Поэтому я считаю, что по крайней мере одна часть ее есть. По этой же причине я считаю, что хотя бы часть ее найдут, потому что ее перевозили, повторяю, по частям, а не в целом виде. Часть найдут. И уже нашли.
As the war continued, more art treasures were stored in sites around Königsberg. Some believe that even the Prussian crown jewels were brought here and held with the Amber Room. Königsberg was the capital of the region ruled by one of the Third Reich's most powerful and infamous art thieves, Erich Koch, the Gauleiter or governor of the district. Koch is a key figure in the story of the Amber Room. He desired to hold on to the treasure for himself. It is difficult to imagine what this city was like before the war. So little of the old Königsberg remains. By 1945, the German army had been pushed back and the Russians were advancing towards Königsberg. It was a dangerous place for the inhabitants, who tried to escape the attacks which devastated their city from both land and air.
К 6 апреля 1945 года город был полностью окружен. Только одна дорога соединяла Кёнигсберг с Пиллау. Естественно, по этой дороге вывести культурные ценности не могли, потому что эта дорога находилась под огнем наших войск. И поэтому мы считаем, что янтарная комната в настоящее время находится в Кёнигсберге. Фотография янтарной комнаты, которую нам предстоит найти. Вот она пока согревает теплом, но только фотография. Так что будем искать.
Late 1944 to early 1945, many people report seeing crates coming and going from here, the shell of the courtyard of Königsberg Castle. So maybe the Amber Room did get out. As many Amber Room investigators believe, it could still be buried here in the rubble beneath my feet. But no one is going to spend the millions excavating this place without the real proof.
This little blip right here.
As the Russians are short of money for expensive explorations, professional treasure hunters have started to move in, using ultrasonic equipment to search underground. A team of American explorers led by Norman Scott have recently taken up the challenge to find the Amber Room.
Look at too much depth, not enough depth, change something, I don't know.
So far, Scott's excavations have not uncovered any significant finds, but he continues to search Kaliningrad. Other treasure hunters believe that the Amber Room is not underground, but rather underwater, deep in the treacherous Baltic Sea. They maintain that the Amber Room left Königsberg by sea in 1945, but never reached its final destination. These new explorers risk their safety to dive the wrecks which litter the Baltic seabed. They search the ocean floor near to Königsberg, hoping they will find the ship which held the Amber Room.
Auf den Namen eines unserer Helden, Gustav.
Auf den Namen Wilhelm Gustloff.
The Wilhelm Gustloff was the pride of the Nazi propaganda machine. It was in the harbour at Königsberg in January 1945 due to carry civilians and cargo away from the city and the advancing Soviet army. Witnesses saw many unidentified crates loaded onto the ship under military supervision.
Auf diesem Schiff war ich seit Anfang 1944 als 18-jähriger Zahlmeisteraspirant an Bord. Wir haben dann Frauen und Kinder an Bord genommen, etwa 6.500. Wir haben natürlich auch Kisten an Bord genommen, wobei natürlich keiner nachgesehen hat, was sich in den Kisten befand. Wir sind dann am 30. Januar mittags ausgelaufen, sind dann nachts um 21:16 Uhr von einem russischen U-Boot torpediert worden. Ich bin dann von dem ersten Torpedo, von dem Luftdruck, die Tür war verklemmt. Ich habe dann versucht, in den Gang zu kommen. In den Gängen lagen also schon die Frauen und Kinder übereinander, totgetrampelt. Man muss sich vorstellen, dass 6.500 Menschen zum gleichen Zeitpunkt nach oben wollen. Es war alles vereist, man rutschte also auf dem Deck aus. Viele Leute oder einige Menschen haben sich dann auch umgebracht, also Marinehelferinnen, die an Bord waren, haben sich zum Teil auch die Pulsadern aufgeschnitten, andere haben sich erschossen und die also nicht im Wasser ertrinken wollten. Ich habe mich dann in ein Floß gelegt und bin dann also aus dem Floß in die Ostsee gespült worden und dann später von einem Rettungsboot aufgenommen worden.
This catastrophe was virtually unknown throughout the world, even in the post-war years, although 4 times as many people died in this disaster as in the sinking of the Titanic. 5,400 people lost their lives.
Ich bin aber persönlich der Auffassung, dass das Bernsteinzimmer Königsberg nicht verlassen hat. Weder auf dem Landwege, was gar nicht möglich war, denn am 30. Januar war Königsberg von den russischen Truppen eingeschlossen. Auf dem Seewege, wenn, dann mit der W. Gustloff, aber mit Fragezeichen, ob in diesen Kisten auch das Bernsteinzimmer war. Das sind die einzigen Möglichkeiten.
Olaf Löring is part of a new generation of German explorers who are looking for the Amber Room.
We are very, very sure that the Amber Room is in this area, but this is a vast area and you need very, very high technology. But we have this technology and I think we're the only ones who have it in Northern Europe. And with that help, we'll be able to find it.
Olaf was part of a team who dived on the wreck of the Wilhelm Gustloff in 1995.
1.5 years ago that we dived on the Wilhelm Gustloff, we were expecting the Amber Room over there, but it definitely is not in there. The wreck is very, very huge of the real Wilhelm Gustloff, but it has already been dynamited probably in the 50s by the Russians, because the Russians were also searching for the Wilhelm Gustloff, and so everything in there is really totally destroyed, and there's definitely no amber in there.
Mysteriously, there's evidence that another ship called the W. Gustloff was also in harbour in Königsberg.
We've heard some information about a second smaller ship existing, which had the drawn sign on it W. Gustloff, and which left Königsberg at about the same time. And then we made some advertisements, and we found some witnesses who said that on this W. Gustloff, which is about 100 meters long, which was a combi freighter, which means they had freight and passengers on board, was being loaded with the amber boxes. And then we began a search for ships which have set for the west at that time. We've made a lot of research ourselves on the Amber Room, and we are very convinced that it is on the W. Gustloff, because that was at that time the only possibility for the Amber Room to leave Königsberg. And this is exactly the area where it will probably have sunk. The condition of the Amber Room will be probably, well, it was packed in boxes, in wooden boxes, and wood in the Baltic Sea stays very long in its original condition, because there's not that typical warm and salty waters that eats up all the wood. So I would expect the boxes to be in excellent shape and a shiny amber inside, yeah. This is a very interesting area for diving wrecks because it was always very remote. Before the political situation changed, it was not possible to dive here at any wrecks. So on most of the wrecks we're diving, we're the first ones to be on them. You ready? Yep. Here we go. Now we're going to take some shots of this one to document everything and to analyze it afterwards. Bye-bye. Okay. It was a ship in excellent condition, but it was an older ship than we're looking for.
Olaf will keep hunting these waters until he finds the Amber Room. Many believe that the Amber Room was smuggled out of Königsberg before it was too late and was transported south by rail. I too headed south into Germany, leaving Kaliningrad behind.
But